took on the Cardinals out in Arizona, and the Commanders annihilated the Cardinals with Jaden Daniels putting on a show that even Stormy Daniels would applaud. After
Oh
all,
my God.
when it comes to avoiding pressure, he's got better track record than Trump in a courtroom. So
Jesus.
the Commanders are fucking legit, dude.
In DC too, making that reference. Oh my goodness.
Jaden Daniels, he looks nice. He's so smooth out there. He set an NFL record in this game for completion percentage through the first 4 games of a rookie year at 82%.
Wow.
That
That's
completion
insane.
percentage through 4 games, surpassing none other than Tom Brady, who had 79% through his first 4 games. You know who the next 2 guys on that list are? You're tuned in to another episode of the Flea Flicker Show. We are your hosts, Red and Dre. For another episode here. We're always excited to talk to the people out there. Dre, what you got going on?
Hello. I just got back from Louder Than Life, the festival in Louisville, Kentucky, and it was pretty freaking awesome. That's why I kind of had to look at the games after the fact, because I didn't really get to watch any this week. Yeah, Louder Than Life was sick, and I am hurting from mosh pits and people flying through crowds and whatnot, and just staying up and doing things that 30-year-olds kind of shouldn't be doing. So I'm ready to talk about football, though. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty solid. Day another week with the monster there with Jack. Just me on my toes, but yeah, go ahead and get into the games. There were some pretty exciting ones. Some games we did and did not like as far as our respective teams did, but we'll get into that. But kind of leading here, just update on the standings there. On the week, LJ was finally dethroned for his weekly winning standings. For some reason, LJ was winning every single week, but it is no longer. It is now Josh. Rusty pulled away with a 10-6 win this week. It came down to Monday Night Football to get that dub, but right behind him was LJ at 9-7. Myself at 9-7 as well, and then Tyler at 9-7. And sadly, for this week, Dre, you came in the back of the pack at 8-8. So nothing to scoff at there. Not a losing record by any means, but on the year, it's 42-22 LJ. Myself I'm 35-29. Josh is 35-29 thanks to his win this week, followed by you and Tyler tied at 33-31.
That's awful. This is literally the worst I've ever done in picks ever. Ridiculous.
It changes every week. So I mean, look at what was it? 2 weeks ago, Josh had 5 picks right, and then now he had 10 this week. So
maybe this week's going to be the week for me.
Maybe we'll have to get into that on the next episode. Next episode, I'd like to touch on some people I have in a hot seat as far as coaches. Got a ranking of those. A few of those you're going to know right off the bat. Doug Peterson. You're looking at Doug Peterson, Mike McCarthy, Nick Sirianni, Stefanski. Those are the tops there that are on the hot seat, but we'll get into that a little bit on another episode.
Some surprises too coming up, huh?
Got some surprises on there. Yeah. Got some candidates in there as well. I think where potential spots they could fall to, I think would be good situations for those people, and we'll get into that maybe in the next one. We'll see. But I want to have a nice discussion with you, so I'll fill you in a little bit beforehand. But let's starting with Thursday Night Football. Your Giants took on the Dallas Cowboys at MetLife, losing this one 20-15. The Cowboys narrowly beat the Giants, which is like watching a close game of rock paper scissors. It's intense. You're still left wondering how it got that dramatic. So it was an interesting game. It wasn't that exciting, but Malik Neighbors is exciting. The good thing I can say in New York right now. I'll let you kind of digress there and tell me a little bit more about that. Brian Dable as well. I think he did a pretty good job coaching to keep them into this game without having much of a run game at all.
Yeah, I like Brian Dable. I still think he's a good coach, and I hope we can get a quarterback for him next year, because as it showed in this game, Danny Dimes he's just not it. He's like a decent quarterback. He's probably a solid backup quarterback right now, and the Giants shouldn't be starting a solid backup quarterback with this team. he can't throw the long ball. I don't know what happened because his rookie year, I think he could. So he's just fully regressed, and he makes some bad throws. Devin Singletary in the run game couldn't get going. You mentioned Malik Neighbors. He was him and Wan'Dale Robinson too.
Yeah.
The other slot receiver were both doing good. Neighbors did get knocked out towards the end of the game, which was unfortunate. He's got a concussion. Hopefully he can play next week. But the Giants just got kind of outplayed by a not great Cowboys team. So that's not ideal.
Cowboys are not great, and they really aren't. I mean, people going into the season thought they were going to be a contending team, and to this point, they haven't looked like it. I mean, they're giving up yardage constantly every single game. Even though the Giants couldn't score on the ground, they're still offensively through the air. So, test to Dable as well, being able to move the ball with Daniel Jones at quarterback. If you guys are able to get a good quarterback in the draft, you guys will have a good offense.
I think
there
so.
in the draft for going a quarterback with your first pick, running back with a second. There's some good running backs coming out of the draft here.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I do like how our team looks. It's literally, I think, mainly Daniel Jones. It's an issue. Malik Neighbors kind of fucked me out of like $500, by the way. I think I told you that. I literally just needed a touchdown from him, and I would have hit my parlay.
Oh.
And of course,
It's rough.
he doesn't get the touchdown.
That's rough.
It's tragic.
That's terrible.
It was $10 for $500 parlay. It's terrible.
Terrible.
CD Lamb did good as well. He was cooking Tay Banks out there. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
I mean, CDL
Cowboys
looks good. A couple of things come out of this game, though. DeMarcus Lawrence got hurt. He's going out probably at least 8 weeks. And Micah Parsons is hurt as well. So that's going to be tough for the Cowboys there, saying that they're probably going to finish third in the division. And I think it's going to be the Giants and the Cowboys to try to get third in the division.
Or maybe it will be to try to get fourth. I mean, depending on what we're talking about.
Yeah. Depending what you're talking about, but the Cowboys are always going to think they're contenders, so I think they'll be trying to at least get there at some point. But don't want to stick on that one too long. Going to the Eagles and the Buccaneers, this is a game going in that I wasn't too excited for, but I still had to pick my Eagles, still had to pick the Birds. But the Buccaneers blew out the Eagles in this game, and it was 16-3. And now Nick Sirianni is about as safe in Philly as a tourist in Kensington. Definitely not a good place you want to be in right now. Or about Philly cheesesteak around Big Dom. So it's
Big
luck for the Philly Eagles this game. And I mean, they were going banged up. Didn't have Dickerson, didn't have Lane Johnson, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith. Is all you want. I don't think there's any use for how they played. You can run guys, but you still got to give it your all. The defense looked uninspired. Players were playing not to lose and not to win. In my eyes, looking at the game, the players are a product of the environment. They had no discipline. They had tackles, lacked energy, lacked tenacity, lacked really just any excitement at all. Captain in this game, and really dating back to last season, a ship without a captain. So they have a ton of good pieces there, but how can you expect players to be held accountable when the coach doesn't even hold himself accountable when he makes mistakes? So at the end of the day, I don't know if it's going to be during the season, but I do think Nick Sirianni's days are numbered in Philly.
That's crazy with his record, but I understand it. For the Bucks, I mean, fuck yeah, dude. Like, I picked the Bucks. I said Baker Mayfield was going to come in hot and take down the Birds with a really good game, and that seems to be pretty much what happened. Yeah. Bucky Irving, we've been talking about. He continues to look like he should be getting more reps in the backfield over Rashad White. And Mike Evans was once again a very solid receiver. Baker goes back and forth between Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Whoever's not being covered by the top dog is just going to go off. So
yeah, and one of your former guys made some noise. Sterling Shepard came out. I think he had 50, 60 yards or something like that. Like, he had a pretty solid game, had some really nice catches, and they were solid catches out there. They weren't like he was just wide open and just hit with an easy pass. It was him jumping up for the ball and making a really nice catch.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the Eagles know Shep. He's played in Philly quite a few times, and he's always been a really good receiver. It's just injuries really took him out the past 3-4 years. So it's nice to see him out there getting some yards.
Yeah. I don't know about your take on this, but kind of dating back to where I had in the beginning talked about coaching rumors. in the offseason previously, if Nick Sirianni was canned, it was rumored that Ben Johnson wanted to go to Philly.
Ew. I never heard that rumor. I don't believe you.
I heard around the
You hear
rumor
a
mill.
lot of weird Philadelphia rumors that no one else hears, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I
he
heard
would
was
like
that
it.
it
He's
was
pretty sad.
the rumor. Ben Johnson wanted either Philly or Dallas, and both teams stuck with their head coaches, so he stayed with Detroit.
It's disgusting either way.
But
I hope that's not true.
we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how the season progresses. Eagles have a bye this next week, so let's see. But moving on, Broncos at the Jets at MetLife. This is the second MetLife game this week. Did come out with a huge win in this, and it was quite a snore fest. It's 10-9.
Yeah.
The Broncos beating the Jets 10-9. Both teams missed a field goal late. The Broncos beat the Jets in a snooze fest that felt like watching the Irishman on a loop, long, drawn out, and by the end, you're just wondering when something exciting is going to happen, and nothing does. The Broncos.
Not the Irishman slander. Said not the Irishman slander. But yeah, I agree.
It was not a fun game at all. The Jets offense looked really good in week 3, and then this game, not so much. The Broncos had 60 yards passing in this game. So Bo Nix, rookie out there, he didn't make any mistakes, which I guess is a positive, but really just battle in this game what looks to be two really good defenses. Their takeaway from this one, but other than the Jets, were night and day from week 3.
Yeah, I think this was like one of two real shitters of the week. We'll get to the other one later on, but yeah, the Jets kind of just didn't show up. It was really strange. The Broncos defense, I guess, might just be good. Breece Hall, like what the fuck? He had 4 yards. It looked like he's losing the backfield to the rookie, Braylon. So that's something that we didn't see coming. Then yeah, you talked about the Broncos. They couldn't do anything against the Jets D either, but we kind of expected that part. So
yeah,
I think with the Jets, I think it might be time to start kind of talking about Aaron Rodgers. He seems to have taken a sharp decline after the injury so far, at least. And unless he like dramatically improves throughout the year, I think it might be time to hang up his cleats, man, because he is not looking like Aaron Rodgers out there. He's looking like he's kind of washed.
No,
to be honest, so far.
I agree. It's Rodgers certainly has been a disappointment, and you have to look at next year's free agency class because I don't think the Jets are going to be in the running to take a quarterback really early in the draft unless they trade up for one. Kirk Cousins, honestly, like Kirk Cousins is on contract with the Falcons, but did draft Phoenix Jr. So if they don't go as far as they want to this year, you could see potentially Kirk Cousins going somewhere else. Russell Wilson, even. There's guys who are veterans.
Bring back Sam Darnold. I don't think that'll happen. I don't think he will want to go.
I don't think he would either. There was huge change of scenery in terms of the coaching structure there, and
Daniel Jones.
Option. He's familiar with MetLife. I think New York City, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, that game was a boring one. I'm glad I didn't watch it because it turns it on, turns it immediately off.
Dude, Garrett Wilson hasn't been getting anything from Aaron Rodgers, like at all.
The best receiver in this game. The best receiver in this game was Mike Williams. Mike was the top receiver there for them. He was a guy that I had as somebody to pick up prior to him coming back because he was eventually going to take over some work there. I didn't anticipate him being the leading receiver, but the Jets are also in the rumors to be connected with Devontae Adams. Get a union with Aaron Rodgers there for him. So that would certainly kill the Garrett Wilson ownership.
Yeah, that wouldn't be great for me because I have Garrett Wilson in both of my leagues.
I have Garrett Wilson in Dynasty and was offered a pretty good trade involving him this offseason, and I'm pretty upset I didn't take it. Vikings and Packers. Speaking of Sam Darnold, the Vikings beat the Packers, leaving Green Bay fans questioning if their team's defense was just a mirage, because it sure looked like they were playing hide and seek out there the whole game and just not showing up. The Vikings ended up taking this one 31-29. It was honestly ended up turning out into probably the game of the week. Right up, very good game. A kind of back and forth, up and down game for Jordan Love. He had 360 yards, 4 touchdowns, but he also had 3 picks. So no touchdown. I will say, not getting a James fucking killed my touchdown parlay. It's the only touchdown I missed this week. So Josh Jacobs. Anyway, Sam Darnold looks very good. And I don't, it's just because of the coaching there. I don't know if it's because of the supporting cast, having Justin Jefferson as an elite receiver, but he looks really good, dude.
Yeah, dude. Like you mentioned with the Packers, Jordan Love, he did really well, but then the 3 picks that he had in his return from injury kind of sealed the Packers' fate there. Even they did have a massive fourth quarter comeback, but it wasn't enough, and the Vikings did take that win. Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks both had big games with their quarterback back in action. And for the Vikings, like you mentioned it too, Sam Darnold, I think he's a legit candidate at the moment for top quarterback in the league. Like, it's pretty insane.
Pretty
Most people
crazy.
thought
Like if you honestly, like if you just threw like $1 bet on Sam Darnold to get MVP like prior to the season, what would your payout potentially? Because right now he's cruising to be in that conversation of potentially an MVP.
it would probably be a pretty hefty payout because I don't think anyone even bet that.
No.
Yeah, and the Vikings are freaking 4-0 now with the changeover from Kirk Cousins to Sam Darnold. That's just crazy.
Crazy.
It's absolutely insane.
Absolutely crazy.
And I love it.
Yeah. It's pretty wild.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I don't hear him. So I just wanted to make sure him and Talia are just like talking in the bathroom, and I'm like, I hear every single word they're saying. I hope you can't.
No.
All right. Well, moving on. It was a great game, but let's move. Saints, the Falcons, taking this game 26-24 on a last-second field goal from Younghoe Koo. Ball fans of him. The Falcons beat the Saints barely. It was like watching a cat play with a mouse, where the mouse escapes just in time, but still leaves you wondering how it all happened. The Falcons didn't have an offensive touchdown in this game, but still managed to have 26 points.
That's happening every week. Every week, one team wins a game without scoring on offense. It's been a very strange year. So,
well, they have 2 defensive touchdowns and then a bunch of field goals. For me in fantasy, having Younghoe Koo, so good there. He's a baller. Love him. This is the Saints team that we expected, though. The last 2 weeks, this is the Saints offense that we expected. It's the Derek Carr we expected. It's not the first 2 weeks where he was putting up 90 points over those 2 weeks. It's shown up, and they're showing who they are. The Falcons, though, they need to do more. Their defense is nice, but they brought in Kirk Cousins for a reason. That pass attack is not really much of a threat at all. Especially as Kyle Pitts. Nothing with Kirk Cousins. So I got to think like he's a bust.
He
He's
might
done.
just be a bust.
He might be just straight up cooked. Worlds of talent, but nothing is happening with it.
No production, man. And he wasn't supposed to be like a blocker at all. He's supposed to be this productive vertical threat from the tight end position. Big body guy, catches the ball and gets good yards after the catch, and he just hasn't been productive at all for them in 3 years now. So
regardless of who's quarterback, he had a good rookie year, but that's about it.
Yeah. But this game, it was a really tight game. I think the Falcons really stole it here. You mentioned they had the defensive touchdowns, but the Saints kind of let them. They let them come in and take it. Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins kind of looked like they were mirroring each other in this game. They looked like the same person in a different uniform to me. Just unimpressive. Not terrible, but unimpressive.
Speaking of payouts that were just narrowly missed, Ivinson total yardage missed in this game by 15 yards. And I also had previous games, 10 yards missed by rushing on Jalen Hurts. It was $1 play to win $9,300.
That would have been nice.
Because of those 2 guys.
Those are the only 2 that you missed?
Only 2 I missed out of 25 legs.
It's tough. 25? Jesus Christ.
$1 to pay out that high. But hey.
25 legs.
25 bit.
I mean, that's pretty solid. And the only 2 you missed were pretty close. That's pretty solid.
Yeah. But pissed me off because I could do with an extra $9,300 though. But I did into this game.
You bastard.
The Saints, baby. Don't got faith in the Saints. Don't have faith in Allen as a coach. I think is not up to par with what it looked like in the first start of the season. So don't have a ton of faith there.
See, the problem is Taysom Hill has gotten hurt the past 2 games. He's their rock, man. He's their foundation.
He went on
Without
IR,
Taysom Hill-
didn't he?
I don't think so. I didn't see that. He scored twice in this game he was playing. He did hurt his ribs in this game. I'm not sure of the extent of that injury. I didn't not look it up.
He's gonna miss.
So-
I saw he's gonna miss some time. I didn't see exactly how long though.
Well, the Saints are screwed then.
Yeah, I mean,
It's over.
yeah, he's their heart and soul. You don't have heart, you don't have anything. Having a South team in it, we'll go
Bangers.
Panthers. The Bengals
Yeah.
game 34-24, a game of 2 cats going against each other. The Bengals beat the Panthers, turning the game into a cat fight where the Bengals showed they're the top cats in this game, while the Panthers were left wondering if they should just have stayed back to litter box. World better than with Higgins back has arrived. Those are my 2 talking points there for them. That offense has just been so much better. Now that T. Higgins is in the fold again, it's not just Jamar Chase. I mean, up against Washington, got the loss, but this week that offense looked really good. Burrow looked like Burrow. Defense back Cincinnati. That defense absolutely told. They're getting gashed by every team. I mean, the Panthers are a lot better with Andy Dalton, but they're not a world beater offense, and they still were able to put up 24 points in this game. He had a decent amount of passing yards. A lot for just how.
Yeah, I mean, Burrow and the Bengals, they finally got their first win today, or this week. And they're really hoping to string together some wins before it's too late, because they need to get back in this. They expect to be a playoff team. But the Panthers, I really still like the Panthers with Andy Dalton there. Dalton's homecoming, it didn't go quite as planned. You wanted that win against Cincinnati, but it was still a respectable game. Chuba Hubbard did good out there. Deontay Johnson's thriving with Andy Dalton.
Thriving.
Xavier Leggett looks like he might be replacing Adam Thielen. He had a good game, and I just think I still like the Panthers despite the loss here. I still think they can make some noise with this squad.
Yeah, Leggett. You mentioned Leggett. He was on my waiver pickups last week as somebody to absolutely just like storm the gates for, because he has a ton of talent. Enough talent to place DJ as the wide receiver 1 there at some point this season, but it's kind of weird how the Panthers are still giving Mingo more snaps than Leggett. Even though Leggett's more productive, they're still giving him more snaps. So should change. Hopefully it does for the Panthers' sake, because he's a lot more talented.
I think after this game it might change, because Leggett looked pretty explosive out there. Like he could be, like if Deontay Johnson's their number 1, Leggett can be like their vertical threat, their big dog, or something like that. So I think next week you'll see the change happen.
I just want to see him in interviews, dude. Dude is comedy. Like, he is funny.
He's gold, man.
I mean, there's a missed opportunity not having him out there just because he's so.
Plus, he's like a hometown hero, hometown talent, isn't he? Isn't he from South Carolina?
No, he's from.
I might be wrong.
He's from Louisiana.
I was wrong.
He played at South Carolina, though, I think.
That's probably what I'm thinking. Yeah.
No, but he's got like that deep Louisiana accent.
You'll
love to see it. Let's move. Jaguars, Texans. Jaguars are a shit show. 20-24, and they actually probably should have won this game, but CJ Stroud did not want to have that happen. So the Texans beat the Jaguars, proving that when it comes to finding creative ways to lose, the Jags just get the gold medal in that aspect, because they really know how to drop the ball. Peters are numbered in Jacksonville. Former Super Bowl coach. He was cut from Philly a couple of years after winning the Super Bowl, and he's going to get cut in Jacksonville because this team stinks. Trevor stinks. Some guys we've talked about here before. You got to think, is it because of the environment that he's in, and a new coaching change, a new regime might be able to turn him around, because he's got a world of talent. I mean, someone like Slowick or Ben Johnson goes there. Think they can turn Trevor Lawrence around?
Yeah, I think so. He's clearly talented. You can see it, even though it doesn't show up a lot. He's definitely very talented. Yeah, I don't know what to think, because I still kind of think the Jags could turn it around this year. I mean, they're 0-4, which is definitely not ideal. But if they start winning some games, if they turn it around, I still think Doug Peterson could save his job, and Trevor Lawrence could be seen as a good quarterback this year still. But they're rapidly running out of time to do that.
Yeah.
So
the thing
I
is
will
too,
say
like
they did
they're
look
running
better
out
in
of
this
time, but like their offense, even if that turns around and starts to put up points, their defense is still atrocious, dude.
game. Yeah, I mean I think the offense at least looked better in this game. They did almost win it, like you mentioned. They still weren't great. Like Trevor Lawrence had like under 200 yards passing, but he didn't make any mistakes. And I do think that they have a good receiver, a good rookie in Brian Thomas. It looks like he might be taking over that receiving room. So they have pieces, and Tank Bigsby looked good. He had a
Very
huge
good.
run in there, better than ETN at times. So, I mean, they have pieces for sure. It's just, it might be what you're saying. Like, maybe it's Doug Peterson. Maybe he just can't get it going. So, I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
can't teach talent, and they have talent. Like the teams that have talent, look at the Jags. Like I'm going to use them as an example. I'm not going to talk about other teams that have talent and aren't playing up to it. But we're going to talk about the Saints or
Like Doug Peterson's former team. We won't talk
yeah,
about
we
it.
won't talk about it. We're talking Jaguars, and they have a ton of talent. They could do something, but I think it's the coach that's holding them back there.
Yeah, you're probably right. The Texans, I mean, they're a team that was able to win it in the fourth quarter too. It was like a comeback base, or
Yeah.
was it a comeback? I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, they were down.
And Nico Collins and CJ Stroud look really good. I think Nico Collins is like his safe space or something.
Dude, I
because
think
he could have quite a few big games.
Nico Collins looks like at least top like this year.
Crazy.
He looks elite. He's so good. He's pulling in catches left and right, and he's getting 100+ yards every single game. And I think by keeps it up by end of the year, you're going to put him in the same conversation as Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's a heavy take. I thought he was going to be the number 3 receiver on their team this year.
it's him.
Under Diggs and Dell. So it's kind of crazy. I don't think he's going to be up in that conversation. I think he's going to be up there with, like, I don't know, maybe DK Metcalf. But
I mean, if he
Jefferson's-
keeps putting up 120, 150 every single game,
he's not. He's going to slow down. Tank Dell wasn't in this game. Diggs had an off day. Diggs is probably getting pissy over there.
probably. We'll see.
Why is Nico Collins getting more yards than me?
He's getting more catches. He's getting more yards. Come on. Diggs needs the yak.
You're not open.
Diggs needs the yak. Come on.
Diggs needs the action. Give Diggs the action.
All right.
Diggs, you're not open. Diggs is always open. Yeah.
Let's move.
Texans win.
Let's move in the Colts, baby. Steelers coming 3-0 on the season. The Colts beat the Steelers behind ageless Joe Flacco, reminding everyone that while some quarterbacks are aging like milk, Flacco is aging like fine wine, smooth, bold, and surprisingly refreshing. So it's
Only a couple of years off there.
what was that?
So he had a couple of years off.
A couple years off. He got to go ahead and rehab at home, sit back on the lazy boy, watch football. I can do that.
Yeah.
Better than that guy, and here he is. He's performing up to the task. So I'm better with Flacco. Michael Pitt showed up, and he showed up with Flacco. Josh Downs showed up with Flacco. This game is, again, Jonathan Taylor gets hurt. Richardson gets hurt. That's why Joe Flacco played to begin with. Richardson can't seem to last more than a few games every season at this point. It's only been 2 seasons, but if he can't stay healthy, there for him.
Yeah, I mean, and even with the staying healthy part, he's not looking good when he is healthy. Other than, like, what was it, like the first game? I think he had some good plays, and since then he's just been horrible, really. So I mean, they're lucky that Joe Flacco got to come in to win this game, because I don't think they had a shot if Richardson kept playing. The Steelers defense is too good for him right now.
I agree.
Michael Pitt and Josh Down looked ecstatic with Flacco at the helm. They were actually getting catches, and it's kind of like the same situation. Who was it? There's another team that's like in a very similar situation, where the Panthers. We talked about them already.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton and Bryce Young. It's like a very similar situation. Although I will say Richardson has looked better than Bryce Young. He still looks pretty bad. So.
Yeah. Another situation. We'll get into another game where another same situation happened. We'll get into that later on. But and with this one, a couple on for the Steelers. They finally cracked. They gave up more than points in the first game all season. 27 points gave up in this, which for the Steelers, that doesn't really happen. So Joe Flacco, congrats. Fields, he's safe for now.
He actually looked good.
He had a pretty good game. I still
he threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in total.
He did. He had a good game. I still think the offense would look better with Russell Wilson, but if Fields keeps performing well, if he has more games like this one, it's going to be pretty tough to make that decision to move forward. And honestly, the trade deadline's a month away. It could make Russell Wilson expendable since he's only there for a year anyway, to be half-year rentals for another team. So
he's very cheap too.
Very cheap.
Because the Broncos are fronting his entire salary.
Very
pretty
cheap.
Much.
And I mean, what did the Steelers give up for him? Like a 6th-round pick?
No, he was cut, wasn't he, by the Broncos? Did they trade him? I thought they cut him.
He was cut. You're right.
Yeah, the Steelers literally just paid him the league minimum, the vet minimum.
So I mean, if they could trade Russell Wilson for like a 5th-rounder,
I'm sure they would. If they keep sticking with Fields, I'm sure they would.
Trade him to the Dolphins for like a 5th-rounder. That's great for the Dolphins, and it's great for the Steelers.
It could work out.
Yeah.
With the Steelers, I just really can't seem to pick a Steelers game correctly. Like if I go with the Steelers, like this week, I'm wrong. If I pick against them and don't believe in them, they do really good, and the other team's offense can't do anything.
So I don't
know.
I think pick the Steelers because I like to pick the Steelers apparently. So Steelers, I'm just gonna get it right.
But I picked the Steelers today and I got it wrong too.
I know.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You want to be.
I want to be right.
I see. Well, we'll see. Well, a little preview for next week. I might be doing something like that when the Steelers pick comes around. Because who they play, I don't want. Yeah, I don't got any Steelers.
All right, well,
George Pickens got going.
George Pickens. Pickens showed up. Yeah, it was nice to see, especially for my fantasy team. But let's move to another one here. Now, let's move to Rams-Bears. You have a Nike that's a rookie here, kind of underperforming. The Bears beating the Rams in this one, though, but not behind Caleb Williams. They won off the back of DeAndre Swift showing up big time, making defenders miss like they were trying to dodge a bad bait, while Swift danced his way to the end zone. It was been receiving. He led them in rushing after doing absolute shit for the first 3 weeks. I think he sensed Rashawn Johnson coming down his neck, pushing.
Yeah, your boy scored.
He did score. I picked him to score, short on the yardage though.
Did you actually?
For bet from another one, yeah. But I did pick him to score.
How much did you make?
16.
16. You're an insane person. Did you win any of them?
I had some of them.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I did win some of them. Most of them, I was like 1 or 2 away. I will say the game, I was a lot away because Will Levis was out really quickly. But them, I was just like 1 or 2 picks away. So I did pretty solid in there, but didn't get the wins in most of them. Wins in a few, though. And
well, that's good. I bet on the Giants game. That was it. And then neighbors screwed me. But yeah, for this game, the Bears, I mean, they ended up taking it from the beat-down Rams squad that just couldn't do enough to win it. I think Caleb Williams did finally look pretty solid in this game. He didn't make any crazy mistakes to lose it. And like you said, Taylor Swift's brother did very well in this game as well.
Brother from another mother.
I've seen.
They're both from the Philly area. I mean, she's from Reading, which is an hour west of here.
Oh yeah, Gaia's sister lives there.
North Philly.
Yeah, siblings.
Maybe they
People started calling him that online, and I think it's hilarious.
Maybe somewhere in the line. I don't know. Have you seen his dad?
Game really no, I didn't.
His dad owns a gym in Philly, and the dude is a fucking unit. Like, he looks like he could play in the. He looks like he could play in the NFL.
Maybe he did. Have you looked it up?
I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
Was he on the Eagles?
Nah, I don't think he did. I think he just is. Just huge gym rat.
Good for him, man. Maybe that's how Swift made it. He just kept getting the pumps in, running people over. But really, this game it just made me feel bad for the Rams more than anything else. Because I think they're the most injured team in the league right now, and it's showing.
Yeah, it was pretty tough.
And there's a lot of injuries overall anyway.
Especially since they're long-term injuries. It's not guys out for like 1 or 2 weeks. First game for Caleb Williams not have a turnover in this. So he kept it out of the defender's hands,
figuring
which
it
is
out?
great. Only
Maybe.
157 passing yards, which you want to see
Yeah,
more,
the Rams,
more
like,
than that.
nobody really
there's
took
still
over
aren't.
at receiver, I don't think, in this one. And they're going to have to get that going to start winning games again.
What
Fred,
the hell?
I think I lost you. You seem frozen. I can hear you now.
Yeah, what the hell just happened?
You froze there. Did you hear me talking at all?
No, on my internet, but the internet's on for every single device. I don't know what happened. Anyway,
I was just saying that the Rams receiving room. I don't know if it recorded that part, but I said that the Rams receiving room is really clearly missing their top targets, and they haven't found a replacement yet.
Oh, yeah.
According to this game.
Whittington looked good in
Williams
this game, though.
Who?
Whittington? I think he's a rookie.
I'm not sure.
Rookie or
I
a
did
second
see
year.
that name, and I didn't know who it was. So
Yeah, he looked pretty solid, but only 157 yards for Caleb Williams against a pretty middling Rams defense. You want to see more out of him. He had over 300 the week prior, but no turnovers. So that is a positive direction, I guess. But let's move. Let's move to the NFC East versus NFC West here. The Commanders took on the Cardinals out in Arizona, and the Commanders annihilated the Cardinals with Jaden Daniels putting on a show that even Stormy Daniels would applaud. After all, when it comes to avoiding pressure, he's got better track record than Trump in a courtroom. So he's fucking legit, dude.
In DC too, making that reference. Oh my goodness,
he looks nice, dude. He looks nice. He's so smooth out there. He set an NFL record in this game for completion percentage through the first 4 games of a rookie year at 82%.
Wow.
That completion percentage through 4 games, surpassing none other than Tom Brady, who had 79% through his first 4 games. You know who the next 2 guys on that list are?
Peyton Manning and Phillip Rivers. I don't know.
Yo, one of these guys,
CJ Stroud.
The third guy you are very fond of.
Eli Manning?
Nope.
Baker?
Nope. Probably the next guy in your fond list. Geno Smith started his career with a 78% completion percentage over 3 games. Also at 78% was Kyler Murray.
Was that before Geno got his jaw broken and everything went to shit?
Yeah, I mean, it was 4 games of his career, so it started out pretty nice. Yeah.
Who was it? Kyler Murray?
This guy.
What a strange list.
Very strange list. So looking at the second guy, you could say it's a very good start for Jaden Daniels. But looking at fourth, those are 2 guys that haven't done much of anything. Pretty sure counter playoff game. So they indicate success going forward. But still,
At least he's a start.
Very good start for Jaden Daniels' career. And very good for my fantasy teams.
He's been really good. Like, holy crap. You might not have been wrong when you told me the Commanders are looking like they might be the team to beat in the NFC East this year.
Yeah.
They exploded in this one. Jaden Daniels looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the league, up there with Sam fucking Darnold, of all people. Like, what is happening?
I don't know. The NFL is completely turned upside down, but man who's
kind of giving RG3 vibes, man.
Yeah, for sure. I think they're going to battle for the NFC East, but I would pump the brakes on crowning them. I'm seeing a lot of headlines saying that they're clear favorites for the NFC East. Only reason I'm saying pump the brakes is not because of other teams in the NFC East. It's because of the competition they played. The 3 wins they do have are against a combined record of 3-9. I want to see them play against actual stiff competition before saying this is the team to beat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I think we'll see that relatively shortly. But yeah, I really hope that he has a better career path than RG3 does, because the Commanders quarterbacks tend to not be very lucky with injury health. They've had quite a few quarterbacks in their past that have had pretty career-ending injuries. That literally 3 off the top of my head I can even think of. So let's hope that he stays healthy. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Hit the weight room.
Brian Robinson hit the weight room, Jaden, please. Brian Robinson looked really good out there, and James Conner, the running back for the Cardinals, also looked. Both teams had a good running day for their teams, and I think it was really mostly the Cardinals' defense getting cooked all day long that really lost this game.
I mean, the Cardinals were a hot and cold team. Sometimes they look absolutely terrible, like they did this game. So it really depends who shows up what week, and you don't really know who's going to show up for them. One more takeaway from this game before moving on. If the Washington offense keeps up, I think Cliff Kingsbury is going to be in the conversation for potentially a head coach job this offseason.
I think it's too early for that, but if he does it this year, like if he keeps going this year, he's definitely going to be, he'll get interviews for sure. But I don't think he'd get a job this year, maybe. But next year, if they keep going too, for sure he would be probably one of the top 10 candidates.
For sure.
But he's got people like Ben Johnson, and you mentioned the Texans
Bobby
coordinator.
Slowick, Brian
Belichick
Flores.
still out there. Flores.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's a lot of competition now.
A lot of competition for sure. To make on this game. So let's move to San Francisco. The Patriots got blown out by the 49ers, and it's clear New England is a disaster right now. If they were a reality show, they'd be titled Keeping Up with the Losing Season. Or another title. I'm going to run a couple titles by you. Still looking for Retired Brady, like an episode of The Golden Bachelor. Some disappointment, New England edition, with drama on the field and no happy ending in sight.
I like the third one.
Yeah, I like that one too.
It was fantastic.
The New England's a fucking disaster, dude. Top of my head, Love is blind, and apparently so is Jacoby Brissett.
Well, not Jacoby, man. He doesn't. He's getting smoked out there. He doesn't even have a chance. Defense is in his face as soon as he snaps.
Yeah. Not too much to take away from this game, really, just other than the Patriots stink, and the Niners are staying afloat through injuries thanks to some pretty easy matchups.
Yeah, the Pats were just pretty much outclassed. Yeah. Jordan Mason was a huge winner. I think he's trending towards being offered a starting gig after this year. Maybe even with the Niners, with the news of McCaffrey's freaking Achilles situation. Both legs now, it just keeps getting worse every week. It's McCaffrey. Purdy and Brissett looked oddly similar going against a couple stout defenses, although Brissett probably was fearing for his life a little more than Purdy.
A little bit.
And yeah, it's at least the Pats have a defense, right? Kind of, somewhat stay up.
I guess.
It's just their offense is...
I don't hate the game too much longer, so let's move again. The Chiefs beat the Chargers in a game so dull, even the cheerleaders started checking their phones for updates. I've seen more excitement in a tech seminar. So, and another Snoozefest. I mean, the Chargers were out to an early lead, 10-0, and just nothing from there. The Chiefs take a hit in this one. Rashee Rice injury does not look promising. It looks like he's probably going to be out for a large chunk of the season, if not all season. So, Carson again and immediately benched. So Hunt took over the backfield. Not sure if you saw that, but he had a pretty solid game. But Mahomes always finds a way to win, and he found a way to win this one.
Yeah, it was pretty upsetting, to be honest. Rashee Rice getting taken out by Patrick Mahomes was one of the funnier karma moments I've seen in NFL. And I know it's taboo to think this, but I had no feelings for him when his knee went backwards there. Because I still think he should be facing at least a suspension, if not prison time, for being a freaking moron.
Well, did you see that?
Giving people a serious...
Did you see that Von Miller just got a 4-game suspension for conduct?
For what?
I don't know. But he got a suspension for personal conduct. And how does 4-game suspension?
Rashee Rice is on video.
Yes.
Rashee Rice is on video breaking a personal policy. What are we talking about?
Twice. Once for assault and once for causing an accident and leaving the scene of a crime.
And leaving the scene, yeah. It's ridiculous. And this is his karma. So, and Patrick Mahomes probably won't be making more tackles at any point.
Probably
so
not.
That'll be... but yeah, you mentioned Kareem Hunt. He kind of took over the running back room. I kind of hate that. But like you said, Carson Steele did fumble. So I can't be too upset. Kelsey finally got some catches after Rice went down. But the Chiefs... they kind of look like they're in trouble with Rice going down because they didn't really find a top dog now.
No.
And they lost Pacheco already. Kind of brutal for that offense, much like last year. But they might be in better hands this year, even though they didn't look like it in this game per se.
I mean, now they can go to Xavier Worthy. I mean, they still have another option at wide receiver. I mean, he's a rookie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He should improve throughout the year. But and I will just say, like, you did say Kelsey would come back this game. He did the Rashee Rice, but and I would still be wary of his usage that he had prior to this, because one thing to point out, 2018 through 2023, Travis 8 games where he had 5 targets or less. He had 3 games this season already where he had 5 targets or less. So he's nearly half of that in one season already. So it's clear downturn for him on his career.
Not the only tight end.
I'd certainly temper expectations with him there. But Chargers defense is more than stout. Their offense is still work in progress, but they're not expected to contend at any point this year. So I think they're ahead of schedule.
Yeah, it was I know it was a bad game, but it was a really good game for them against an undefeated Chiefs team where they were pretty close to winning, honestly, even though they didn't look all that good. And they had like everyone injured, but Ladd McConkey still did solid, and Justin Herbert hobbling on one leg did solid as well. So
I don't know if I said the score, but it was 17-10. So it was a 1-score game. It was close.
For the Chiefs, I think I did want to mention that I believe they are looking at Hunter Renfrow right now as the Rashee Rice replacement. He's still a free agent. He had a couple down years, but he still knows how to run routes and he can catch. He lost a step, so he'll be a little slower. But I think he could still do some work on this offense. And one other guy that I heard about that I think it doesn't make sense to me is, of course, Davante Adams. He's been linked to trades rumors. Apparently, he requested a trade now. And Chiefs fans are saying this, but I think it would be absolutely insane for the Raiders to trade Davante Adams to the Chiefs. So I don't think that'll happen.
I think the most likely scenarios for him are going to be either New York Jets or Buffalo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was gonna mention a few teams. The Bills and Jets are my top 2. I also think that a reunion with the Packers could be possible. And then I wanted to say like the Commanders, the Steelers, and maybe the Rams with their injuries.
I have Commanders on mine as well. I think Commanders are a sneaky target there for him. Because if you had him with McLaurin, that's a fucking offense. We're gonna do it. So I think that's a team there for that. I have Steelers as well. Pairing his guys I had.
I don't know if you would want to go with Justin Fields is the problem with the Steelers.
Yeah, that's really the only problem there is the uncertainty with quarterback. Is it Justin Fields? Is it going to be Russell Wilson? Who knows? And that uncertainty is, if he has any say in that trade, that uncertainty is going to be heavily weighing on.
Yeah, I did have the Saints in there at first as well, but I don't think he's a big fan of Derek Carr, to be honest.
Yeah,
after their time on the Raiders together.
I agree.
So I took them.
I
agree with you. Bills Jets, I think, are the most likely option. I do think that trade is going to happen in the next few weeks.
A couple others that I had on there just as like kind of outliers of like secondary options. I had the Baltimore Ravens on there, but they don't pass enough to really make it justifiable to trade for him.
That's exactly why I took them off too.
There, as a potential to pair with Drake, I could see it.
I don't know if they have money. Do they?
Honestly, I have no idea. I didn't look at cap space at all. Dallas would hate it, but I can see it.
They don't have money. They for sure don't have money.
Somebody in the trade to match for cap. So, and I don't give up. Cardinals, but Cardinals are 1-3 right now. So, change for them to justify giving away a draft pick, a high draft wide receiver.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah. So similar thought process there for both of us. But let's move to Browns Raiders. Okay, so the Raiders beat the Browns, right? And help but think Sean Watson is having the worst season ever, at least his worst season ever. I mean, this guy's been through more scrutiny than a Diddy freak-off party.
Oh my God.
It's like he walks into the locker room and says, "Hey guys, I'm ready to play." And everyone else is just like, buddy,
they start groaning.
We're just trying to keep it clean here. It's like, can you imagine that playbook? All right, Deshaun, we're going into Vegas where brothels are legal and bad decisions are encouraged. Just don't touch anything that isn't on the football field.
Yes. They have to like keep a watch on him all day.
Yeah, he's got his own personal chaperone, just got a couple guys in security, got the mic going.
Probably Winston, man. And his guy.
Not only the off the field issues, but he just stinks. I'm 16-20, and for the Raiders, it was basically an audition for a game to Adams. Adams was pretty decent in this game. He wasn't great, but really, like I said, an audition for it. And ultimately, I think the play here is for the Raiders to get a new quarterback and a new wide receiver. they can probably trade Devontae Adams for a high draft pick and get a wide receiver 1 and a QB 1 in the draft. Travis Hunter and Sanders.
Oh my goodness. I do think that I don't think they'd have to trade up into the first because those are both good. They're both going to go in the
They're
first.
both going to go in the
I would
first.
assume.
Well, what do you think they can get for Devontae Adams? At least they could get a second for Devontae Adams. Maybe
I don't think they'll get a first just because he's old.
Depending on the team that trades it, like how far back in the first that would be. A first and a second for pick. I don't know.
I like this train of thought. I think with how their season's going, they'll probably be able to take one of those guys pretty early with their normal pick. And I think if they trade Adams for maybe a second, I think they could package that in to a deal to trade up for Travis Hunter, probably with the second first. I just don't know how high up Travis Hunter is going to go in the draft because he's super talented. I would actually really like that for the Raiders, though. I'm not a huge Sanders fan. We know this, but I think the Raiders would be kind of a really good spot for him.
It'd be pretty fun, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. And Travis Hunter going with him would be sick.
That would be sick. And I'd be both ways in the NFL. This was a debate that Micah Parsons and Darius Slay had the other day. And Darius Slay said, back in the NFL, I think that he could play both ways. He's so talented. But I don't think a team is going to let him.
The Raiders would be an interesting place to go to possibly let him, simply because of Bo Jackson and the history they have there. He could be seen, literally fans would be going crazy if they said that they tried to introduce him kind of as the next Bo. He's not Bo Jackson, but he's very talented.
Very talented.
It would be close to it. So I think that would be a really good, really fun, and I would love to see that. But going back to this game, Myles Garrett could not save the Browns from dropping to 1-3. He did. He had 2 sacks out there and looked good, even though he was questionable going in.
Yeah.
And literally every time Deshaun Watson loses a game, I get just a little bit of joy in the pit of my stomach.
I get a lot of joy
from watching him look so miserable. He always looks miserable on the field too. I don't know if I've seen him smile.
Start Jameis. Start Jameis.
Dude, if you watch any of their games, like they'll look at Deshaun Watson, he looks miserable, and then they'll pan to Jameis Winston, and he's just like laughing, joking, have a good time.
He seems like such a cool guy.
Keeping everybody going.
Such a cool guy.
Like without Jameis, I think the Browns would be in dire straits, on the sidelines. And for the Raiders, I did want to mention that Alexander Madison has been looking better than Zamir White. And I think they need to start giving Madison more carries there on the Raiders.
Definitely.
I'm also a little nervous about the Raiders because it seems kind of like Antonio Pierce is losing the locker room a little bit, even though he's supposed to be like a good big locker room guy, and I love Antonio Pierce. And it could be the Devontae Adams thing. So I think literally trading him might save the team. I don't know. We'll see.
Esley Steinberg says breaking the Jets are trading for Raiders Devontae Adams. That's the only thing I'm seeing of it, though. So I'm going to pump the brakes on that until there's more that comes out on that.
That'd be a very quick turnaround.
It would be very fast. Move, though, from the Browns. Don't want to talk about the Browns anymore. Sunday Night Football, Bills, Ravens. And I know you get for work, so we'll make these last few games quick. The Ravens smoked the Bills, and it felt like Derrick Henry. Speaking of a Diddy freak-off party, I feel like he was coming from a Diddy freak-off party, slathered in baby oil and slicker than ever. The Bills couldn't touch him. As he danced through their defense like it was a red carpet event, it was a masterclass in slippery running, leaving defenders grasping at air while Henry racked up yards. Looking good in this game, dude. 209 and 3 touchdowns. Ravens won on Henry's back in this because Deshaun Watson didn't really do much. Another game where he had like 100 and something yards.
Lamar?
Yeah. Lamar Jackson. Did I say Deshaun Jackson?
I think Lamar still. Yeah, you said Deshaun Watson. But yeah, Lamar. I think Lamar is still very talented. He had a couple plays and he scored a couple times. But yeah, Derrick Henry for sure. He looked like the Derrick Henry of old in this one. He looked insane. It was amazing.
When we let off the game, first carry, it was an 89-yard touchdown.
It was over. As soon as that happened,
it was over. It was over. The Bills were completely destroyed mentally there in that aspect. So the Bills let down the earth in this with a 35-10 victory for the Ravens. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the Ravens really made a statement game here. 'Cause they needed this win too, and they literally like told the league like, "Hey, don't forget about us. We're still in the playoff conversation here." And I think I was right to say last week that I think when Josh Allen can't do it all, the Bills will be losing. Because that seems to be exactly what happened here in this game. He needs more help, and that's why, like we were just discussing, I think Devontae Adams to the Bills would be a really good idea. Yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
I think he'd be a better option than their old receiver.
Yeah,
in Diggs.
I do as well. Let's move to another primetime game. 2 primetime games. Monday Night Football. First game.
This one can be quick. Good job.
Yeah, this should be quick. We have Titans Dolphins. The Titans pulled off a surprising win against the Dolphins, and wait for it, Mason Rudolph was leading the charge. Who knew he'd be the secret weapon? It was like a plot twist in a movie no one saw coming, but he stepped up and made it count. The Dolphins were left wondering what just hit them. And what hit them was Mason Rudolph.
You're putting too much into Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph, a red-nosed reindeer, apparently, because he led the Titans to victory here. Levis got hurt, and Mason Rudolph actually came in, looked all right. Flacco.
Didn't he throw for under 100 yards?
I don't know.
I don't think he did anything.
He didn't make mistakes like Levis had been making. Levis was 3 for 4 and did have an interception in this game as well. So his decision making is pretty suspect. The train wreck that people thought they were, if they just lean on not passing every single play.
They don't have the running back anymore though
I
either.
know.
It was a horrible game, man.
Horrible game.
The Dolphins looked like the worst team in football, and the Titans didn't look much better.
Horrible game.
Even after Will Levis. Like, Mason Rudolph didn't look good. What are we talking about here? He looked like a backup quarterback, but they might even still want to switch to him. I don't know. Will Levis has been horrible. But a good job kicking Nick Folk. Now, let's just forget this game happened, please.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
And Huntley needs to go back to the practice squad because he is not good. Focus on just one of 2 things: trading for a new quarterback immediately, or tanking the season and drafting a quarterback in the top 5.
Yeah,
but
I don't think they're going to draft one. We'll see.
Let's move to the last game of the slate: Seahawks Lions. This is a pretty good matchup here. It was a pretty damn good game. Very high.
It was great.
The Lions beat the Seahawks in a wild offensive showcase that had fans on the edge of their seats. It was like a video game out there with touchdowns flying left and right. Both teams were scoring so fast. I had the scoreboard to start glitching. There were so many points in this. In the end, the Lions roared louder, proving that when it comes to scoring, they're just not playing around. So they scored 42 points in this, 42-29. Lions, offensively at least, the defense is still their Achilles heel. Seattle go off for nearly 30 and 400 total yards for Geno Smith. That's just not something that's going to fly if they're going to make a playoff push. So I will say the Seattle offense looks better than I thought they did previously before coming in. But
Kenneth Walker scored 3 times.
3 times. Man. Helped me out. And
DK looked really good.
Helped me out a few places.
The Lions, like you said, they were crazy. Jared Goff had a perfect game. He was 18 for 18, man.
Yeah.
That was literally the best a quarterback has ever done. Like, it was the first time that a quarterback in NFL history has gone more than 10 for 10 in history.
Wow.
And it's Jared freaking Goff.
Right? Ryan Gosling light.
One of the best games by a quarterback you're going to see. And the Lions steamrolled.
Yeah.
When Goff can play like that, I think the Lions look unbeatable. And their other options did really well. Their players. Jameson Williams showed his speed on a huge play. Amon-Ra caught and threw a touchdown pass in this one. Gibbs scored twice, and Montgomery scored once as well.
Yeah, and
it was just a great day overall.
Keep in mind too, this is with Sam Laporta still mending an injury and not looking 100% out there. So 100% Sam Laporta out there to what that offense looked like as well. I mean, they're putting up 52 points. That team going to make some noise.
That's a Super Bowl team.
They're going to make some noise.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but let's get going. Let's wrap it up. We're at now, so let's wrap it up here. That is another episode, another recap for the 4 NFL coming up. So let's. It seems like just yesterday it started, but it's love football, love talking about it.
A third of the way through already.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Trade deadline's a month away, which is crazy. But yeah, that's another episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, or follow. Make sure to check our store. Cop some merch. Get a hat, nice fit. Check it out.
Is that a sign? Am I gang signing? Oh, that's probably not good. But
Later.
peace, dudes. I'm gonna get shot now. I threw up a gang sign.
All right, so.